What next for the gender rule? That is the conversation that we're about to begin right here on KBC Channel 1. Good morning, Kenya. It is. My name is Samuel Njoroge. Welcome to the program. In case you're just joining us, we've had quite a blast since 6 a.m. and we're just about to get to the climax of it. Within the next 35 or so minutes, we shall be having this critical conversation around Article 81 of the Constitution. The 12th Parliament will be sworn in Thursday this week in a matter of hours. But there is a concern that it is not constitutionally constituted because it falls short of the two-thirds gender rule. And so many voices have been added to this particular concern, up and including FIDA, which has moved to court. We shall not discuss that because the matter is now in front of a court of law. But then again, what exactly do we need to do as a country to finally get this equation on the gender rule right? The 11th Parliament tried. It did not succeed. What does the 12th Parliament need to do to ensure that gender is properly embraced in Parliament when it comes to representation? What exactly needs to be done? And I've got a panel of two ladies, Dr. Juliet Kimemia and Catherine Omanyo. Omanyo.
Yes.
Sorry about that, Omanyo, joining me in studio this morning to discuss this particular issue. And I'll give them a bit of time, 30 seconds each, to share with us your profiles. I'd like to begin with you, Catherine.
Yeah, Catherine Omanyo vied to be an MP in Matayos constituency, Busia County. Unfortunately, I came in second, but it doesn't mean that I'm no longer a hopeful. I still want to do something, and I'm doing it already. But it's unfortunate that to be a woman in Kenya, sometimes you are not taken very serious first. And unfortunately, again, people think we have seats meant for women and not women struggling to get these male-dominated seats. So we had so many odds that were pushing me while I was doing my campaigns. And there are things that I think as pathfinders, most women who have vied in places where it is very difficult for a woman, we are like pathfinders, and we must consistently show that if we worked with men side by side, then this nation will be moving forward faster than it is doing right now. And there will be very few corruption issues and things that just derail the society. Actually, traditions have barred so many women. Violence have made them even fear. Most of them at the moment, especially those who tried and never made it, they are like, what even sent me there? I think it is just a male world. And this kind of discrimination is what we are saying, no, we are friends, we are family, we need to hold hands and give this country a place where it deserves. Because I believe in Africa, Kenya is up there.
Exactly.
But I know with time, I think as women, as we continue making necessary noise, somebody somewhere will stop and say, we need each other.
We need each other. Dr. Kimemia, over to you, just a bit about yourself.
Okay, my name is Dr. Juliet Kimemia.
Yes.
I, like my friend Catherine, was in the ballot box. I ran for the Senate seat, Kiambu County. And the reason why I went or offered my candidature is to be part of the conversation towards achieving the two-thirds gender rule. Because previously we have been accused that women don't want to offer themselves, women don't want to run, women want things on a silver platter, women are this, women are that, women are this, women are that. And I said, I will run. And I got into the field. I got into that terrible terrain because it's actually very tough for women, because first of all you have to deal with seasoned politicians, men. You have to amass a lot of money because campaigns are very expensive. And number three, you have to also to contend with a lot of criticism. Because every time I stood to speak to people, the first question was, why are you running for Senate? Why not women rep? That's the seat that is meant for women. So the environment is extremely unfriendly to women. But I thank God because we were able to break significant barriers. Why I am not in the Senate right now is not because I'm not qualified, but it is because I ran on a party that was not popular. After trying to seek the ticket on the popular party, but it was extremely difficult.
Extremely difficult.
Yes.
Juliet, you used the word difficult.
Yes.
Catherine, you used the word odds. Right?
Yeah.
So let's steer the conversation towards that. Then let's share what your odds were before we get to Juliet's difficulties.
Yeah, this was not my first time to run. I did go for MP seat in 2007 first, and I was only 26 years. That time they would say, this little girl, surely, and she has no husband to start with. What will she tell us? 2013, the same, I was still single. She should, first of all, show us if she can take care of a man and children and come back and tell us about leadership. And our culture also, a woman to lead us, it is just an abomination to some men. And they would call me and tell me, listen here, you are our daughter. Please, you are embarrassing us. I'm like, how? You know, a woman sitting on us, you know, literally sitting on men is, and like I've grown horns. And I was like, no, you are my daddies, you are my uncles. I really love you, but there's something in me that I want to really show the world that I can do better. There is something that I need to do, not just in the kitchen, not just you seeing me fetching water from the river or taking care of the children and my husband, but also leading the society. I want to be part of the solution to our problems. Let me be, bless me. I would literally plead them. And most of my opponents, what they did was to stage manage most of the times when I'm going to speak, young people to heckle. And sometimes they would fight. And you know, as a woman, what I do is to run away, scamper and scream. Because standing there and trying to fight back was not my thing. Yes. One time I remember at Our Lady of Mercy in Busia, fights began. People were screaming. I ran. Somebody carried me like a baby. I even lost a shoe. And I had to run. I was thrown in the boot. That kind of thing, I think most women cannot just go for that. And most people use violence to scare us away, push us outside, and just pull us down. And sometimes you get Mr. Moneybags telling you, why are you even struggling? And you're beautiful. Just be my mpango wa kando, and I will nominate you. And I went through all these things and I said, no. We will not be seduced. We will not sleep with men, immoral ones, just to get seats. We have brains. Remember in school, I used to be #1 in a class that has both male and female. What does it mean? Some sixth sense in me taught me that I should not go with a man in bed to get anything. I can think smart, I can think outside the box, I can be that part of a solution our nation is striving to have, you know, and I will lead, and I believe that as long as it takes.
Yes.
Even if I keep on being #2, there is that time I'll be #1, and people will see a huge difference. So women are actually sometimes not taken very serious, unfortunately, with people who have traditions instilled in their veins. They still see us as just wives and people to serve them. And they just get scared because they think if a woman trounces a man, it is so embarrassing. So they do everything to scare women away. Yeah.
Those were Catherine's odds. What are your difficulties, Juliet?
My main difficulty was acceptability as a politician. Every person, including close family members, tell them, I want to run. Because for sure, we are required to run for these seats.
Yes.
And I know I can get votes. And the first thing is, no. Utawezana na, of course, the incumbent. Because there's the branding that the incumbent has, all it takes. Of course, any incumbent will not just allow you to come and raid his territory, hands down. The incumbent had very serious machinery, and he's a very intelligent senator. He's rated very highly. So that was difficulty number one. Number two, of course, the fact that it was the first time I'm running. There were people who were like, "Hey, you can't start on such a senior level. Start with MCA," So that was another difficulty, because it is a field where you require to penetrate with very serious precision. Another difficulty was, of course, money. Running in a county. My county has 12 constituencies and 60 wards and 1.2 million registered voters. So every place I went, and I'm like, mimi naomba kura zenu za senator. The next thing is toa pesa. In Kikuyu land, traditionally we love this thing called money. So left, right, center demands for money, and it's not easy to just present yourself as somebody who is issue based, and that I'm gonna bring projects and programs that will benefit the community. The electorate doesn't want to hear that. The electorate is like, it is time for campaigns, and campaigns equals money. So, they had even crafted very interesting slogans that point at give us money.
Give us money.
So there are those who will tell you that give us a punch in the stomach, at good yada in Kikuyu. Others you need to burn the lips. I don't know whether it's the lips or the chin. Very interesting
phrases that you came across.
Connotations, and everywhere you go, the demand is money. You go to a church, you just want to say hello, and they quickly start a fundraiser so that you give them money. So, I mean, and the people you're running with have budgets of 60, 70, 90 million, 100 million. So that was very, very difficult for somebody who had just come from a classroom. Like
there's something I'm getting from the two of you. And let's look at the women representative seats. Because I've interacted with a few women, both who made it and who did not make it in various elective seats. And the one question they were asked, why not the women representative seats?
Yes.
Why aren't you going for the seats reserved
For
women? What's your take on that, Catherine?
Actually, that was an affirmative action, because a nation that does not embrace working along with women is failing. It's a failing nation. So women representatives are representing women, yes, but they came in there through affirmative action. But I'm here saying that we have a right to vie competitively in any other capacity. If you want to be a governor as a woman, why not? Senator, MP, MCA. So many people in the village got swallowed in this propaganda that male chauvinists used during campaigns, that don't vote for a woman, you'll be wasting this seat. The seat meant for a woman is this particular one, the women rep one. So many people would come to me and say, why didn't you take the women rep? It's so easy, you could have just taken it by 6 a.m. in the morning. And I'm like, that was, yeah, fine. I love also you know, challengeful kind of seat. And that is why I chose MP seat. And also, let women not just sit there and know that there are seats meant for them and sit there or wait to be nominated. I think we are, people like Juliet and me are good role models to girls out there. I want girls to come up and just fight as well as men and get these seats, you know, rightfully, than just sitting there. Like today, I was saying, somebody who came up with that section saying that 45 days to election, names of nominees should be taken to IEBC, actually messed up. They should repeal that section to allow a woman who has really fought with the men and hardly made it to be considered first in the nomination. Yeah, because it is not easy. I used to cry like a baby, but not where people are. After all the hassles and the abusive languages out there, and people would show me very ugly things on the manila paper. If your husband is not doing you right, we will do for you to sit down. Akupe mimba. You sit down and unasumbua watu. You know, sometimes all that comes to you, and then you are in your bedroom. You just weep quietly and come out still smiling, and people think this girl is very strong. And I think when they say that they allow again the parties to choose any woman to be nominated, some people have no vision. They do not have that drive. A person you would love to work with here is this one who has started the journey. Not that one sitting somewhere in the bedroom, just saying my daddy, my uncle was, and they will definitely nominate me. Yes. I think they messed up there. And I just want to fight for women candidates who have gone out there and fought, wrestled with men, and hardly did not make it. Exactly. Such women, when they go to parliament soon and they get sworn in, to think about those women. And when they're adjusting a few things in the constitution to allow more women, they should go first for a woman who fought and did not make it.
The Supreme Court, I think it was in 2014, 15, it gave an advisory on this particular issue, the implementation of the 2/3 gender rule. And among the things the court ruled, or the advisory it gave, is that it has got to be progressive. What's your understanding of progression, Juliet?
The High Court ruling was actually in 2012, just before the 2013
although there was another
elections.
By the Supreme
Court.
That's
the one that gave Parliament a timeline by which they should have come up with a mechanism. The timeline was given to August 2015. And between the advisory and 2015, a lot of activities went around the 2/3. There was a technical working group that was convened by the AG and the Gender Commission, and Parliament also was working on the mechanism, and several proposals were presented before the House by the likes of Chepkonga, the likes of Duale, the likes of Agostino Neto. They all came up with various proposals towards achieving the 2/3 gender rule. But what carried the day and looked easier to implement was what was passed by Duale. And that was looking at applying the formula that works at the county assembly to the National Assembly and the Senate. And that is the formula of top-up. And that is what right now the issue is, that Parliament should have 117 women. It doesn't matter whether it is going to be bloated or not. That is the proposal that is on the floor of the House, and that is the most appropriate proposal towards achieving the 2/3 gender rule. Nevertheless, there was the issue also of the women rep seats. The spirit behind the creation of that particular seat was an opportunity given to women specifically because our parliament is largely dominated by men, an opportunity to give them space in the National Assembly, 5 years, that will help them run in the single constituencies and get elected. Mm-hmm. So, and we saw many of them not defending their seats and running in the constituencies. Also, that's the same spirit behind the nomination. We saw very many of the nominated MPs, senators, and even MCAs trying to run. All this was towards achieving the 2/3 gender rule. But unfortunately, I think it's only like 5% of those who were in the various houses made it to be elected. The likes of Martha Wangari in Gilgil. We have an MCA in Kiambu called Jacqueline, who was a nominated MCA. We have an MP in Kiambu still, Katundu North, Wanjiko Kibe. She was a nominated MCA. And from that experience, I think there is very serious need for revision of the strategies towards achieving the 2/3 gender rule. And like my friend is ably putting it here, the strategy that needs to be tried right now is the issue of creating space for women candidates, women who have run but didn't make it, to be the first to be considered for nomination, because the previous or the law that is in place right now like bars somebody who has been at the ballot box from being nominated. And that's why probably it didn't work. Yes, because people who are nominated are not necessarily politically wired.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so it begs the question, what needs to happen for things to finally work, Catherine?
First of all, the word progressive is denying us our rights. If the Constitution already says no more than 2/3, specific gender should be more than the other, it should just happen right away. So if they say progressive, it's denying us. Justice delayed is justice denied. Yeah. So I want, if possible, the Duale bill. It was a bit sober. They should only top up a little to allow people who have already shown interest in being part of political, circuit to be given first priority. When they are, I know they are going back to parliament soon, and our president said they should start with that. So when we are the stakeholders, I think some of us should be included in repealing that section so that it makes sure that it takes care of other people who would vie in future, that they don't give up. Because most of my friends who really loved me to go through and didn't, they were just telling me this time, just go and pretend to be working in your party of choice so that the party leader knows you well and just be known. Then they will nominate you. That one is killing the spirit of women coming up, and just contest and compete. Otherwise, we will have many people just filling the seats in parliament and they have no idea. What they do is to wait for salaries. Yeah. So we need people who have a vision. For you to vie and even spend and risk even losing your husband. I have a friend whose husband has already, married another woman because she chose to run, and the man thought, this is now, we are becoming two men in this house, or something like you are never there, right. So a woman like that who has a vision to serve the people should actually, by all means, even by today, we are so ready. Even if they said, okay, we need 41 more to make sure that this 2/3 gender rule, is fulfilled. We are so ready. We will just go there and start working. In fact, better than any other person, because losing is bad. It hurts. Even the way we are here, very strong here, It's just God's
We cry a
mercy.
lot.
But it is bad because before you vied, you had a manifesto. You knew within 30 days, 90 days or 3 months or 1 year, this is what I wanted to do. But there are people who will be nominated there and they have no idea what they'll do for the next 4 years or 5 years, but just earning salary.
Earning salary.
Yeah.
Does the remedy rather, is the remedy restricted to law, Juliet?
I don't think so. And that is why the court process is there. If we go by the IEBC experience, and particularly the very many issues that were brought before the courts by NASA before the elections, including like the famous one of the presidential results should be declared at constituency level. You see, it is not in the IBC Act. It's not even in the Elections Act. But it was interpreted, presented before the court, and the court granted it. So I believe a petition to the court will be able to help the law become practical, particularly that provision that the list of nominees should be with IBC 45 days to election, which essentially bars anybody who is in the ballot from being in the list of those nominated, because it is very clear. So that, to me, is extremely awkward and retrogressive, because if we want to achieve the 2/3 gender rule, if we want to check the wage burden, because as it is now, if you look at the county where I come from, last year we had, or the last season, we had 5 elected members of the county assembly. Right. Now we only have 1. It means that we are going to have 90 MCAs where we only need 60, just because women were not elected. These 30 extra women to make up for the third have to enjoy salaries, have to enjoy benefits, have to enjoy everything the elected MCAs are enjoying. You can imagine the number of wards that are in the entire country. And only 94 women were elected as members of the county assembly. So the law as it exists is retrogressive towards achieving the 2/3. So there is very serious need for revision, particularly that issue of women candidates being barred, including women MCAs. Like in Kiambu, we had 98 women who vied for the Jubilee Party nominations. And you know, anybody who got Jubilee Party nomination then is like 80%.
As good as elected.
It's as good as elected. So many women expressed their interest. They went, they competed with men for the nomination, but unfortunately the terrain is tougher for women. And the roughness, like my friend is saying, the frustrations, the insults, the violence, psychological and emotional, are very high. So women lose out. So my proposal is that the dominant parties, because those are the ones that are able to deliver seats, needs to be radical. Like ODM gave very many direct nominations. That is what Jubilee needs to do.
Needs to do.
And specifically give them to women.
I'm receiving feedback here that is a bit interesting. And I'd like us, even as we bring this show to a close, just give you an opportunity to react to this. The gender rule, or the question of women, is not cast on stone. It will in time ultimately be scrapped with time. Reason? It's not practical in elective positions. Ladies have the numbers but refuse to vote for fellow women. It was possible in older days when girls were not schooling up to high levels. I mean, see the gender balance at colleges and universities, graduation ceremonies. Ladies are a majority. Why then don't they soldier on after university and overcome the men? That is the question being raised. Question number 1. Number 2, the issues to do with frustration, the odds, the difficulties. Unfortunately, these are issues that we cannot legislate as a country, and therefore the solution to the gender question does not entirely rely on the law, but other factors that need to be informed. What's your take on those two issues as we bring this to a close? Catherine.
Yeah, actually, it is a bit unfortunate that people have different ways of approaching things. But it is easier said than done. These people who are quick maybe to comment and say, oh, the two-third gender should not be this and that, I think if they tried to vie themselves, they will be talking something else. Like I said, we better start now than wait for things to be done for us. And when we walk the talk, there is somewhere we are headed to. And people who know where they are headed to, you only need to give them time. So as we say today that it is women who are lacking in numbers, one day, maybe 60 years down the line, it will be men saying, we don't have enough numbers in parliament. Maybe we'll have more women. So if we talk about two-third gender rule, some people think it is women, and women want more seats. No, one day it will be men, and it is men that will be saying, no, we need a top-up of men. So let them look at this thing, both sides of the coin, and know that it is not about women. Also, people with disabilities are there. Many other minor, groups are also just not saying it. But we want to be included in every part of the government dockets. We want to participate. And many times, if you give a woman a job, they'll do better.
They'll do better.
Without being supervised.
Juliet, over to
I
you.
wanted to add on something.
Very quickly.
In Rwanda, when Kagame realized in 2013, 12 there, that they didn't have enough women, he looked into the law, and as a president, he stood and said, we must have our law looked into, and we must go according to the law, and they added women. So President Uhuru Kenyatta should stand up and also just punch it up and say, we must have this in order. Otherwise, everything right now is unconstitutional.
Over to you, Juliet.
I'm quite used to those comments that women are majority and they should vote for their own. But what I strongly propose is the issue of political parties, particularly the dominant political parties. Because, like we have said, nomination by the dominant political parties is as good as a win. So my proposal is an amendment of the Political Parties Act where they will be enforced to implement the two-thirds gender rule. And like I had said before, the political party has the powers to just issue direct nominations to women so that come the IBC nominations or the ballot, being in the ballot, there'll be the two-thirds compliant in terms of the candidates that they have offered who are women. So if the Political Parties Act is amended and that is enforced, and IBC is also given the powers to reject party lists that do not meet the two-thirds gender threshold, then we will be able to achieve the two-thirds very, very easily. And this doesn't mean that Jubilee should nominate a woman in Kisumu. No, it should be in Kiambu. And ODM should nominate a woman in Kisumu or in Homa Bay.
In their strongholds.
In the strongholds, yeah, because they know where the strongholds are. So if they are enforced by law through the Political Parties Act, an amendment to the existing amendment, that like the one that was done in 2016, so that they must comply with the two-thirds gender rule in their strongholds, then we'll be able to achieve this. And we will save the country a lot of money.
Yes.
Because I was doing quick maths. What will happen in this in these 5 years. We are going to spend close to 3 billion shillings to just deal with not electing women. It is not fair, it is not right. And I think with immediate effect, Parliament should enact a civic education law that will lead to the creation of a program that will inform the communities on what exactly to look for when we are voting. Not somebody who gives you a lot of money. We need to educate the electorate.
Absolutely.
Because the electorate is not even aware that it is very expensive not to elect women. They only look at people who give them money.
Ladies, time is up, but thank you for coming. We'll keep having this discussion. Thank you for watching the show this morning. We do hope that we've made your day. Indeed, go ahead and have a blast. My name is Samuel Njoroge. God bless you all abundantly.